Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channels. Myself and Lee to talk all things Arsenal, and there is a lot that has gone off. I've been busy in the last few days with birthday celebrations. Lee's been busy doing Lee Judges things, but we're back on together, talking all things football. And if I'm honest with you, I kind of wish there's a lot more positive stuff to talk about, but we are going to go through everything. There's a lot of people that are wanting to know what is the thoughts of Lee, and I want to know what the thoughts are of Lee. I haven't spoke to him myself properly about the Edu news. We're going to touch on that. We're also going to talk about Arsenal looking forward tonight to the game against Inter Milan, and of course with the injury news to both Declan Rice and some positive injury news for Martin Odegaard. And we can't really not talk about the weekend as well because the games are coming thick and fast. I also want to talk very quickly towards the end about Victor Gyökeres because I've been going on about this guy for quite some time now, and he has destroyed Manchester City last night. It was fun. Anyway, Lee, I feel like I ain't spoken to you for ages. I've seen you for ages, mate. Are you all right,
No,
mate?
we've been busy with your birthday stuff and all that, like, and then obviously, I've been doing the filming and all that, like, for a TV show. So I haven't been about, but I'm back now. I'm not gone to Italy today because of that. So
When does Love Island come out? When are you on it?
yeah, the over 40s Love Island, like, So now I'm doing a new thing for Channel 5. Can't say too much on it until all the press is released and all that, like. But yeah, done it all yesterday. Filmed the episode yesterday. I believe it'll be out in January, so look out for that. A good day's filming, and something different. And I see, no disrespect to all the presenters that I work with and all that, I see a professional doing it yesterday, and it was unbelievable, like, you know what I mean? So,
Different world, yeah.
ah. I'll tell you I don't know if I should say, but I'll tell you who the presenter was yesterday. It was Thomas Reed Wilson, who does celebrity dates thing. He's the receptionist, like they go. Do
Yes,
you know
yes,
what I'm
Tom.
about?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What
Really?
a unbelievable talent, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, thank you, Robert. I wasn't doing a Head and Shoulders advert for Channel 5. Thank you very much. No need for that. Let's keep it clean. Keep it clean in the chat, please, guys. Yeah. So yeah, he was doing he presented he presented the show. Like, I think it's going to be 3 episodes, and if it gets done more, maybe I'll be on it more. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? So
Oh, good
but
luck to you, mate. I'm sure they'll have you back. Everyone loves a bit of
well,
judging. So.
apparently, like, the producer come up to me afterwards and said I've done really well. So
Nice
hopefully,
one, mate.
it will come back on. It'll be a regular thing. I don't know, you know what I mean. So it depends how well it goes. But I tell you what, if it is a success, it will be down to Tom, who was absolutely magnificent. I've got to say that. Like, I've never met him before, and really watch. I maybe just seen a clip of it every now and then, but not seen. I'm not my sort of thing. Celebrities go
No.
dating and all that, if I'll be honest. Um, but what a talent, and he was really, really good. We had a laugh, and it was good fun. So that's me done, and that's right now. Back to my main job, talking football, Dan. Talking football.
Love it, mate. Love it. Well, look, you're committed to Channel 5 for that show. More committed than Edu, mate, it seems. He's done a runner. No, he hasn't done a runner. Look, I don't want to really ask too many questions. I want to get your kind of raw reaction from it because I know it's been a few days now, but I suppose that's quite a good thing for you to actually take emotion out of it and let it settle and try and understand what's going on. My thoughts, I was quite clear. I felt that there was a better opportunity for him to grow elsewhere. I don't think there was any way for him to progress at Arsenal. And although I know that he did love the club and he played for the club and he wanted to see us do well, I just think money does talk, and that he's gone to Forest where he believes he can grow more into the consortium over with Marinakis and the CEO role there. And there wasn't one at Arsenal that he could go into. So that's what I think it is from the outside looking in. You may see things a little bit differently, mate. What's your thoughts?
Uh, Mixed emotions about it, if I'll be really honest. I'm very, very disappointed that he's decided to go, because I felt he was a great guy for the job, and listen, a really good guy. And when speaking to him, Dan, I mean, talking about Arsenal, and we was talking about Arsenal in the summer, and then like, from a personal point, like having a beer with him the summer before, you know what I mean, talking about everything at the Arsenal was, you know, a fantastic privilege for me. But like uh the one thing that I got out of it was his passion for Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? It was really enthusiastic. Um and I felt comfortable that he was doing the job at Arsenal because of that passion, the love of it, you know what I mean, of it all. Now I get that he's Brazilian, and I get that, you know, somebody said to me, you know, when he was playing, he left to go on a free transfer to Valencia, like, you know what I mean, for money and all that. Like, I get all that, but as a player, you know, you've got to look after your career. I get that, you know, but I felt it's like if I got a job at the Arsenal, I would never leave. Don't matter what money was chucked at me then. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was given a job at Arsenal, I don't know, just doing what I'm doing, say, but at Arsenal, I would never want to leave. You know, I get that there's money and things like that, but like, I just feel a little bit disappointed from that, like, you know. And now I don't know anything about anything, you know. I'm not like, you know, contrary, I've not spoke to him or anything like that. So this
Yeah.
is all of a little bit of a shock for me. But I can't help but think the conversations that I had with him this summer. So what happened in the transfer window? I believe something must have gone wrong. You know, because I can't believe how enthusiastic and how passionate he was for Arsenal. How long ago? Say August time, July, August. So August, September, October, November. Three, no more than 4 months ago, Dan. Halfway through the season, he's decided to leave. You know, surely that offer must have been there. You can't just come up just now, surely, that offer. I don't know, you know what I mean? I find it a little bit hard to believe, you know, maybe
Do you agree with this with Mark saying he can't believe he left the project before it was finished, even for the money?
a little bit, Mark. Yeah, I do agree with that a little bit, like, you know. And I can't help but think what I know about him, what I know about his passion for Arsenal, I don't believe that he could just walk away just because he got a bigger, better deal. I don't believe that, Dan. It's like saying to me or you, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you know what? We're having a chat, and then tomorrow, God, Dan's gone and supported Nottingham Forest now. He's gone on to Nottingham Forest. He's become a Notts Forest fan. I know it's different, but I know that the passion and commitment and love you've got for Arsenal, I believe that he had that as well, Dan. You know what I mean? So, listen, that's what I think. You know what I mean? Like, if a better opportunity comes along, I know that, you know, like, listen, God bless him, spoke to Kevin, you know what I mean? Kevin was a massive Arsenal fan, as you know, but there come a decision when your career
Yes.
is different, you know what I mean? That's why he left Arsenal. If you look at it from a supported playing point of view, you never leave Arsenal. But as a footballer, I get that, you know. So, you know,
Do you think though, Lee? Like, this is the question I want to know from you because you know a little bit better. I've not met Edu, you have, right? And I know that you met Edu on a talking level, and he would never walk past you without saying hello. Now, I want to know this: has something happened behind the scenes? Has something gone sour? Has he fallen out with an individual? Doesn't have to be Arteta or the Cronkies. Is there somebody that you think, yeah, that's why he's gone because of that person or that scenario or the reshuffle or he's not found himself in enough power at the club? Do you think something like that has happened to make him go? Or do you think it's just solely money that he just sees a better opportunity at first?
I don't think it's power because I don't think he's that sort of a guy. I think that something must have happened. I've got to look. I seen the last time I really had a long conversation with him, like, you know, when we spoke for a while, was after the Brighton game. He come out and we had a good chat about things, you know, and obviously we're going for the title then, and you know, I can't, you know, no, thanks for everything you're doing. I can't believe we're in this. No, no, thank you. He was like enthusiastic about Arsenal and going from that point of view. Now, then you look at the summer. I spoke to him, and he was positive again. You know what I mean? Like, looking forward to the season, looking forward to that. Like, and then this has happened now, 2-3 months later. I feel saying I don't know if it's to do with the transfer window, because if you look at the transfer window before, right, the summer, Declan Rice come along. Now, people turn around about the Cronkies and say, oh, they backed him and all that. And I look at this transfer window, and if you just spent £100 million on a midfield player, right, and then 2-3 weeks before the season starts, you go and get a goalkeeper that you don't really necessarily need, but you're committed to another £30 million on it, whether it be next season or whether you're committed on it. You didn't really back that cause. You would have gone, I'll leave it out, lads.
Yeah.
I've just spent 100. We just spent £100 million plus 65 million on Kai Havertz, by the way. Do we really need a goalkeeper? Do we really need to spend that sort of money? But they backed him and said, yes, I do. And they went and got it. This season, really gone out of their way, have gone really. So maybe something's in that, like, that they wanted somebody, and at the end of the day, they ended up with Sterling. I don't know, and maybe that Edu's been blamed for that. I don't know.
One thing that does stick out with Edu, I know people say stuff and it doesn't always come to fruition, and I know people will say stuff in front of a camera that perhaps they don't mean or have to say, but when he's told everybody, calm down, you'll be really happy by the time the window finishes, and we got Sterling and no one else, he probably thought, I look like a Wally now. Because he did, Lee. I'm not being horrible. When he said, don't worry, you'll be fine. I know there's only 4 days to go. You're going to be really happy by the time this window shuts, which is what he said along those words. And Sterling come in. Now, I'm not being horrible. As much as you think that might be an okay signing, a good signing, or a bad signing, it's definitely not an exciting one to get you off your seats. So I don't know if there's something that's been let down there. Maybe they just felt that they weren't able to give him what was needed, or they weren't able to attract a player there, and he felt, yeah, I've been let down here. Maybe he's gone. Look, I still think, for me, I think he has gone for the opportunity and the triple his wages over with a club who apparently really do like him. Marinakis, a bloke who really likes him, and he's offered him something he just can't say no to. That's what I think has happened. However, if it ain't that, and it is love of the club has kind of been disappointed by somebody within there, then who is that somebody, and what is the scenario that's allowed him to go away? And I just wonder if it is that summer window, mate.
Listen, it could be. I'm just putting out scenarios there. It could be nothing. It could be exactly what you're saying. Money. We ain't going to know unless he comes out and says so. If I was to bump into him again and see him, I would say to him, I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? I would say that to him. You know what I mean? I thought you was here for the long term, and genuinely, I'm disappointed that you've not seen it through. That is what I would say to him. That's not having to go at him or anything like that. That's how I feel. I feel that. What was it when we went to? Do you know when that's Orlando, when I went to see Saliba for the first time? When we had a conversation with him in Germany. He made me believe in Arsenal. Do you remember I come back from that? Like I said, I think Arsenal are going to be really good, because he was enthusiastic. He said, we're doing this, we're doing that. I wasn't going to say exactly what we was doing, but that he was. And he said, it's gonna, you're going to be surprised how good Arsenal are going to be and all that, And a year later, I thanked him for that, and he said, I told you so, but we're going to even be better. He actually said when we was in America, and the hardest part of my job now is the easy part's done, getting the players in, getting the players. It's now building on a good team to challenge for title. You know what I mean? Like getting players in now that are better than what the 11 players that you've got was always a difficult job. And I see that, season, it was difficult. That was a difficult stage, which we're at now. Like, you know what I mean? Like getting backups for Saka, getting backups for Odegaard, backups for Saliba, they're difficult to get. And, and I get that. The way you explained it and everything like that. But so he's left now when it's the hardest part of the job, if you know what I'm saying. So, and I do think that the people will look at it and go, has Edu been a failure or a success? What is a failure and a success for Edu? Is it money, bringing in players, getting players in, or is it still about winning trophies? For me, it's about him getting the players in that can make us challenge, and he's done that. So I think he's a success. It's not like it's for other people then to see it over the line. But he's got Saliba on a long-term contract. He's got Gabriel on a long-term contract. He's got Declan Rice through the door. He's got Martinelli on a long contract, Saka on a long contract, and all that. So he's done things that are very, very good. Now, people will always turn around and go, what about this and what about that? We've also got players like Martinelli come through, which he was part of that, something to do with that. But whenever you buy players, there's always people that have failed as well, like, you know. So maybe along the lines, this transfer window didn't go as maybe he couldn't get the players that the club thought they were going to get, and they felt they weren't happy about that. Who knows? I don't know, Dan. I really don't know, like, you know what I mean? So at the end of it,
could this be positive though now? Because like I personally have different opinions to you on Edu. Not that I hate him by any means, because obviously I liked him as a player, and I do genuinely believe he likes Arsenal and wants Arsenal to do well. I think he brought in some great players. I think he brought in some absolutely shambolic players. You have to also understand, or try to understand, how much control he had at the club. I don't know how much he did have. I don't know how much of it was Arteta saying no and yes to him. I don't know how much it was the Kroenke saying no and yes to him. I think he did what he thought was best. So I'll always respect that from him. I think he could have done more. I think there could have been more negotiations that he'd done at times, but I also think that he's managed to do well with the signings of the Declan Rice one, for example, that people don't give him a lot of credit for, but he was a massive part of that from what we understand, right? So there's definitely that. But I spoke to Terry yesterday on the Terrace and LB, and they both believe that Arsenal could actually go and get somebody now that would be even better than Edu. That they can go and get somebody now that can actually take us to that next level. Who's got the experience of, do you know what? Edu was pretty good, but he only did it in Corinthians. This guy's gone and done it at Bayern Munich, or this guy's gone and done it at. We were linked with the Bologna guy the other day, who would be phenomenal because of what he's done over there at Bayern Munich. Remember his name now? Nep, the one who like signed Musiala and got Kane to Bayern Munich. Is there somebody like that? He's available now. Could we go and get that next level one? It's like, look, Edu was good, but he only really knows the Brazil boys. I'll sort you now. That's what I'm hoping now, Lee. What I don't want is for the Cronkies to go, Mertesacker, do you want it? I don't want that crap. We've got to bring someone proper in now.
And I think that could be the case. You know what I mean? Like, you know, go to you know, an ambitious level. I think that's something that can be done. I think that maybe that's what you want. You know, you want to improve and go from there. I think Edu done a okay job, but you know, maybe to get into the elite market, maybe you need someone with a little bit more experience. I get that, and let's hope that they go in there and get that. It'd be really, really interesting to see now who they go and get. And I think that listen, what am I trying? No, there's no one bigger than the club, Dan. There's no one bigger than the club.
No.
So, you know, listen, we replace him as a footballer, and we replace him as a midfield player. If I'm being really honest about it, I was disappointed. He's disappointed me twice now, because when he left, I was disappointed because I did like him as a player, as you said there, and I felt that he left us when he shouldn't have done, and he's gone and done it again now. You know, so you know, this is one of those things that happens, and you have to get on with it, I suppose. But I'm disappointed that he's gone. But at the end of the day, let's see what happens now and see if Arsenal can move on. And hopefully that will be what the way it is. I also think that what they've got to do is, the one thing that I will say is that Arteta and him works well together. That's what they've got to get, someone there that's going to gel with Arteta and be as close as that, on the same sort of page. And that was the one thing that I always felt with Arteta and Edu and all the rest of the gang, was that they was all like on the same page. You don't want someone going off piste, you know what I mean? So it's very important that the person coming in is going to go in the direction that everybody else wants to go in as well, like, you know. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens from there, like, you know, really interesting.
It will be. Some names I'll throw at you, other than the Bayern Munich and the Bologna, ex-Bologna and Bayern Munich technical directors. Patrick Vieira, Dennis Bergkamp, Mark Overmars, and Arsene Wenger, I heard yesterday, Lee. Look, I remember Arsene Wenger when he was the manager, and they were saying that everyone's getting sporting directors, and he said, "What are one of those? And why does somebody need to tell me how to direct football?" So I thought that was a pretty good answer. So that would probably say to me that he's probably not interested, and he's quite tied up with what he's doing at FIFA. Anyone you'd like to come in at the
No,
club?
no, I've got no preference. I liked what Overmar's done. You know, people saying Dennis Bergkamp. What does Dennis Bergkamp know about all of this sort of stuff? He's a coach and a fantastic footballer. So I'm not going to go down that route. Patrick Vieira was a manager. Why would he want to come in there as a sporting director? And also Arsene Wenger. I love Arsenal as a manager, but my God, he spent money like at Arsenal like it was his
Yeah,
own. All of a sudden, I don't want that. Where he's going to be going, no, I'm not prepared to spend this and spend. Go away, Arsenal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to come, you've got to be prepared to spend money and big. But you know, listen, if he was to get the job and he was putting there's no need to put the shackles on, then it's a different thing. But I don't think that he'll take it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? So I think Overmars, he's got a year's ban or something. So
yeah. Overmars, I don't want to go into because he had politics-wise, there were some problems there. But
you know, we'll have to wait and see on that. And it'd be
I,
interesting.
I don't want. I don't really want an ex-player, if I'm honest. I'd rather have someone who knows what they're doing with the foot. I don't want someone to just ring up. I don't know, just ring up someone and go, "All right, Colo Toure, what you up to?" I don't want any of this. I just want him to be a man. I don't care if he's played for the club. I don't care where he's come from. I want him to be an experienced guy who knows how to lead a successful team across the line, because that's what we need now is experience. We don't have it at any level, mate. We got ownership that ain't experienced in football, winner at soccer. We ain't got any board members that are experienced whatsoever. And maybe Richard Garlick, that's about it. But he's not really experienced at elite level. We definitely ain't got an elite level manager, and we don't have elite level players yet. So we need something with experience to get these guys across the line. And you remember when you were growing up, you played the game, you still do now. You were looking up to people when you were 15, 16 playing football who had been there and done it. And you now, without being too rude, people are looking up to you saying, help me. And that's what you need in this team. And that's what we need at every level. I don't think we got it at every level, bruv.
No, 100%. I think that's a great point. I think that I think that the person coming in has got to be an experienced person, not learning on a job. I do think that. You know what I mean? Someone that's been there, done it before, knows where we need to go and take us there. So with certain players and all that, and I think that's really an important part on players. I look at the players that we got in the team, and I still think that if you look at it, Declan Rice is still 23, 24. Perhaps we need someone that's 27, 28, 29 that still in their prime, that's going to take you through, that's been there, done it. I know we've got players in the squad now that have done that. Jorginho and Kai Havertz and have been there and done it. But we need maybe someone else in another area of the field or whatever that can do that. So I think that's a great point. We're in a stage now where I don't know if it's ability that's letting us down, and maybe it's a little bit of mentality, just that little bit that what gets you over the line. Seen it against Bournemouth and seen it against Newcastle. We ain't quite there yet. Massively disappointing the way that we've lost those games. I think maybe a year, 2 years down the line with the same players, I don't think we lose those games. But at this moment, there's something not quite right. I don't know.
No, listen, I quite agree with what you're saying there. Look, the reason I'd stopped is because it's a nice segue into where I want to go. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about very, very quickly with you first. Because there's a couple of questions that I keep getting asked on my channel and social media and God knows, and I see it banding around. And I wanted to bring them to you because I genuinely, before we go into like Arteta and tactics and Inter Milan and Chelsea, I wanted to talk about these two things because I think they're very, very interesting. Not whether you believe in them or not believe in them, but this one first is Mikel Arteta now turning into a bit of a mini Arsene Wenger, and I don't think that's meant as like a negative. I think that's a genuine question. It could be a positive. But do you think now he's been given the ultimate control at Arsenal, Mikel Arteta? Do you feel like this is Mikel's Arsenal now?
100%. 100% it's his Arsenal. Like everything, everything's written all over him with him. Like, you know what I mean? I think that it was Mikel's Arsenal after the Aubameyang thing. I have to say, you know what I mean? Like to prepare to lose all that money that they did and get him out. That was the biggest power shift ever on from a manager. Like, you know, that you look back on that, everybody backs the manager. Even a lot of fans did then. You know, I mean, and Aubameyang was a crowd favourite. As far as I can remember, he was. And all of a sudden, yeah, we're backing Mikel on this one. So that was a big thing for him. It's funny, like people say, he's little Arsene Wenger now. It was mentioned on Saturday. Like a lot of people going, that was an Arsene Wenger performance at the end of his career. Like, you know, a lot of people were saying that. But then I've heard like the Mourinho things and everything like that. And as I said to you earlier on, I think realistically, Man City have lost their last 3 games. And it's been really brushed under the carpet. Oh, well, like, you know, they've got injuries and this and that, like, you know. No one's turning around to Pep and going, oh, no excuses, Pep. No excuses for injuries. No excuses for this. You know what I mean? Like, but when it's Arsenal, don't you dare make an excuse about injuries and all that, like, you know. I do think that injuries are a part and parcel of football. And if you haven't got your best players, you will suffer. And I think that, you know, City are suffering and Arsenal are suffering. It's as simple as that. Like, you know, it's how you get over it. And, you know, if you be honest, Pep has failed in his last 3 games. Well, the difference between Pep and us is that he's lost 1 game in the league, 1 game in the League Cup, and 1 game in the Champions League. If you really look at it, none of them really matter. You know what I mean? If you be like in the cool light of day, if Arsenal win if Arsenal win the League Cup and finish 6th in the league, that's a sackable offence anyway. Like, it don't matter if you won a trophy, you know. So that ain't the being and end all. You know, you can. I don't. No one knows how many games you can afford to win and lose to be in the Champions League. I think with someone like City, if they don't qualify, it doesn't matter to them because they qualify through the knockout stage, quite simply anyway. So that don't really matter, and they've lost 1 league game. So it isn't as bad. Arsenal have lost 3 games in the last 4. 2 in the last 4 and drawn 1. 3 of them in the Premier League. So there's a big difference there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we'd have drawn 1 in the Champions League, and it could happen now. We could be going into our 4th game without winning now. Like, you know, all right, well, it wouldn't be because the cynics will say, well, we've got Preston in there. But come on, you know what I mean? You're really going to include the Preston game in there? Yes, if you're desperate, but I'm not. So I do look at it like, you know, in the major things about it, we're not in a great run at the moment. So is he? What I want to see is Arteta being Arteta. No one was talking about Mourinho last season or Pep when he was winning games down. They was all talking about the you know. You said it, you know, earlier on today. He's got to get back to that. He's got to get back.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I want to see from now on. Like, if we lose to Chelsea, we lose to Chelsea. But I'd rather lose to Chelsea going for it than what we've done in our last 2 games, feeling frustrated and let down. If we go give it a right good go and end up losing 3-2 against Chelsea, and we've given it a right go and it's been a really entertaining game, I could accept that rather than what I see on Saturday with no fight, no desire, no nothing. So I think it's important that Arsenal get back to playing ways. And I don't care if they win, lose or draw today. I'm not that, you know, obviously I want us to win. But, you know, if we lose, I'm not going to lose no sleep over it. But what I want, though, is to see a performance tonight. I want to see us perform. So I've got confidence going into the next game. Because I don't know about you and I don't know about the people in the chat. I'm not being arrogant when I say this. And by the way, I've been accused of on many of platforms at the minute that I said Arsenal would be invincible this year. I've never said that. You know what I mean? Like, but
What? There's no way you've ever said that with me.
no, but like I'm guilty by association. Put it that way, like you know what I mean. So
Who's that then? Robbie, I guess.
Julian, you know what I mean, was the one that said
Oh
it.
well, hey, don't come on. No,
And actually,
that's your fault, mate. You know what I mean?
he actually never said that they were going out. He said it was possible. There's a difference, but you know how it gets.
Well, I had the same. So I got asked, and I didn't get set up. I just got asked a question, which they clipped up in the way they wanted to. This was on the terrace a few months ago, and I was about to sign Calafiori, and they said, "Oh, what this Arsenal defence is so stacked now? What can it achieve?" I said, "Well, the target should be to concede as little goals as possible and try and get as close to the Chelsea situation where they only conceded 15 goals. And of course, it got clipped up that I said Arsenal were only going to concede 15 goals this season. We've already conceded about 11. So, like, they were like, that's what can happen on YouTube. They only clip up what they want.
You know what I mean? And I can categorically say that Julian never said we are going to go unbeaten. What he actually said, we could.
He's definitely not. He's definitely not, is he? Let's just be real. No, if no one has said that. Let me ask this because there's this last question here. Are too many players on too high wages now, which will make it difficult to sell them, like under Wenger? And the reason this has been brought up is because a lot of people are saying we're 5 years in and now we're back to square one, trying to get rid of the Kolasinac on 125k, and like, for example, Jesus on 265k a week. I don't know how we're going to sell him. Zinchenko's on about 175. Not sure how we're going to sell him. So I just thought it would be worth mentioning that. Like, why is it different now to what it was back then? If that makes sense, Lee.
Listen, you're at Arsenal Football Club. You're in the Champions League. You're challenging for trophies or challenging for the title. You're going to be on big money, then. Any player's going to be on big money. At the end of the day, the big money players are not doing the business. That's a difference, And I'm sorry, but they've all got to take a good look at themselves. Now, it might be the fact that they're not playing in the system to suit. Then that comes down on the manager. But ultimately, there's a lot of players out there that, Martinelli, Saliba, Saka have all been given big contracts. Why? Because they're big players, but there's other players in the team, Jesus, who, listen, people will say about Jesus, the injury, you can tell that he's not the same player, nowhere near the same player before he got that injury down, nowhere near. It's unfortunate he's picked up an injury and that's happened. But big time players on big money have got to do the business. And like wage bills, I don't know. Do you really go into them? Arsenal had one of the lowest wage bills under George Graham, but one thing's then. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go down that route that, other teams are getting this and other teams are not getting that. Like Liverpool's wage bill isn't half what Arsenal pay. More excuse. Like, you telling me then that Mo Salah's not on big money, Michael? I bet he's on more money than any Arsenal player. So, and if he isn't, then more fool Liverpool. You know what I mean? That's why he won't sign another contract. But there comes a time when contracts will always be that. You don't think that... I think Liverpool, for instance, have got problems with their contracts because they can't be offering free £400,000 a week to Van Dijk over another 3 or 4 years and Salah when they're in their 30s, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, they can't. They can, but there's no sell-on value for that. And, but they're going to be wanting that. Otherwise, they're not going to stay. So it's really, really important from that point of view. Listen, you're going to have to negotiate contract. There'll be a time when Saka's contract's going to come up again. Saliba's contract's going to come up again. They've got I'm not being horrible. I put it this way. Say Saliba's contract comes up in 2 years' time. We've won 2 titles and a Champions League, just for instance. Fantastic. Well done. Great. It'd be lovely if it was, right? You ain't going to turn around to Saliba and go, we've won two titles and a Champions League. So you're 250,000 now. We're only going to give you 125.
Facts.
Don't worry about it. You'll win another Champions League and another. They ain't going to put up with that. They're going to want big money. They deserve big money, and So does Van Dijk, and so does Salah, so does all the top players deserve what they're going to get. So listen, I think that with Jesus, no one would have when he first signed for Arsenal. I never heard one person mention about his wages then. Not one person.
No, they didn't. No.
Why are they mentioning it now?
I think what they're saying, I think what it is, and I understand, is it's their performance on that
Yes,
wave.
of course
That's what it is. Yeah, because Jesus, when he came, he was flying for the first 3 months.
But
What's
he's never
happened
been the
since
same
then?
since his injury, so it's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah. And look, I've got to say, I personally feel like there's quite a lot of players that have their futures up for grabs this season. I don't think that's particularly a bad thing, though, because I think that's a compliment to the club. You know, if Arsenal were selling Jesus, it means we've outgrown him. Zinchenko, it means we've outgrown him. That's a good thing. I don't want Jesus and Zinchenko to be two of Arsenal's best players, Lee. I don't want that. I want them to be the ones that we're looking at outgrowing, right? So when we're talking about putting players on wages, Saka's going to be on 350 soon. Saliba's going to be on 350 soon. Otherwise, they're going to go. Sorry, they will, because money does talk, you know, as much as they've got to be happy at the club. You need both. You need to be earning what you deserve, and you need to be happy where you are.
Exactly that. And at the end of it, are Jesus and Shinchenko reliable players now for us? No, they're squad players now. So
And they're
we have
injury-prone players. That's the problem. We've got a few injury-prone players at the club, you know, and there are two of them we've got to be looking at the end of the season.
You know, exactly that. You know, they've got to be available week in, week out, and they've got to be doing the business. And it's not easy coming on the bench and coming off the bench and doing it, but that's what you have to do. The likes of Jesus, the likes of Shinchenko, we've got to put in Sterling and that as well. You know, at this moment in time, have not done really well. The only one that's a squad player that I think's come in and done really well for us is Trossard over the last sort of year or so.
Yeah.
But now Trossard,
last couple of weeks, he ain't been too good.
Yeah, now he's, you know, he's sort of become a squad player, more than a squad player. He ain't good enough for that role, you know. So these are the things. Listen, there's players in that squad at this moment in time have got to have a good look at themselves in the mirror and shape up. And if they're not going to be able to do it, they'll be out the door. Because I'm sorry, Martinelli I love Martinelli, but he's improved. His performances have to improve, Dan. If they don't improve, I'm sorry, he's going to have to go. You know what I mean? Because, you know, football's a ruthless game. When you're getting rid of players that are playing really, really well, players of the season and things like that in their positions, and then you're not selling the players that you know, questions again are going to be answered, are going to have to be, you know, questioned and also answered then. So for me, I think it's a massive few months for Arsenal now. Like that. I can't emphasise how big Sunday is. I think it's the biggest game of Arteta's career since he played Chelsea on a Boxing Day, whenever
Isn't
it
it
was.
mad? Isn't it mad? Isn't it mad how these things all work out? It's just like omens and stuff, isn't it? Look, let's get to the two games. Quickly ask you, Declan Rice out injured, Martin Odegaard back. Does Odegaard start is my first question to you. And what would your midfield trio be without Declan Rice?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. I think that for me, Partey goes back into midfield. If he's still playing right back, Jorginho comes in. But for me, I don't want to see Partey at right back no more. I was talking to a couple of my mates today, like, you know, if he continues to keep doing that, then I'm sorry, done for me. Done for me. I would see Wanyeri come into it, like, you know. So I'm going to go because I don't want to start with Odegaard. I want him having 20, 25 minutes at the end of this game when it opens out a little bit and whatever, get some minutes. So I'm going at Partey, Marino and Wanyeri is my midfield. Regardless of the score, regardless what it is, 20 minutes from the end, Odegaard comes on and replaces Wanyeri. And if Odegaard's not fit enough to start against Chelsea, the same three in midfield, but Declan Rice coming in place of Marino.
Yeah, and I think Rice will be well. I say that we hope that he will be back.
Yeah.
This is what I think he will go with. I agree with you, but I don't think that will be the team.
No.
Obviously, Raya's in goal there, which we can't see because of the way the screen is. But I think White will come back now. He's got to play it right back, Ben White. Saliba, Gabriel, and Timber. I think it will be Partey, Marino, and Trossard, and then Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli. That's what I think the team will be. I don't expect to see Jesus or Sterling. Don't expect to see Zinchenko. I don't expect to see Waneri start because he just doesn't seem to want to play him. He wants to use him as a sub and brought him in. I just think throwing him in the San Siro in Arteta's eyes is just a no-no. So for me, I think it will be that. There's a few players that in Milan are resting and keeping fit because they've got a massive game against Napoli at the weekend. They're already 7 points behind them. So they would rather lose this one and win at the weekend against Napoli. It's the equivalent of us playing Man City, basically, at the weekend. So, look, we've got a big, tough game against Chelsea. That sort of team, Lee, are you expecting?
That is exactly the team I'm expecting. It's not the team that I would go with. I think if Ben White's not fit, then you swap over Timber to right back. Zinchenko comes in at left back. That's how I see it. I don't want to see like, oh, he's not fit, so Thomas Partey comes in there and Jorginho goes into midfield. You either pick Jorginho over Rice or like not over Rice, but in place of Rice or over
Partey instead of Rice, yeah.
I think that if Arteta was to go Waneri, I think that it would be an unbelievable thing if he does. But for me, yeah, Trossard to start there, and it would be the way that he goes. Even though I don't agree with it, I would play Waneri, but I'll have played Waneri 5 games ago.
I would have played Waneri against Bournemouth, that's for sure. And I definitely would have played him and got him on more against Liverpool and started him against Newcastle. Look, I don't want to go over the Waneri thing again because it's just getting silly.
Yeah.
Let's move after tonight. We'll do predictions at the end, but let's move from tonight over to Sunday because let's be real, tonight, I don't really care if we drop points, really. I'll take a point at the San Siro, get out of there with something. But Sunday, we can't get out of there. We're saying we've got to get out of there with all 3, mate. We have to. We have to. And if we don't, I know this sounds horrendous. I'm waving the white flag. For one, even if it's a draw, if it's a loss, definitely. But even if it's a draw, I'm going to go white flag. Need a miracle now. And that's what it is. So, I know that sounds horrible, but in terms of football, momentum's everything. In international break again, you don't want to be going in there where your last win was bloody... What was our last win? Can't remember. Preston. Was that our last win? What was the last win?
Our last win. Last win in the league would have been the one before Bournemouth, which was the international break, which would have been Southampton at home.
There you go. So Southampton at home is our last win in the Premier League, and we could go into an international break, which then you wake up in November and you think, crikey, September was our last win or whatever it was, right? So that ain't good. That ain't good, Lee. So we have to win at the weekend. Now, there's rumours that Palmer might not be fit. I think he will be. But they're saying he might not be fit for the game. I don't really care if he is or isn't fit. We should be beating Chelsea with or without Cole Palmer. There's no way that we can go into this game and not win this game, Lee.
Don't matter who they've got playing and all that. Like, we have got to win the game. It's as simple as that. We've left ourselves in last place saloon. I know you think it's silly, Dan, but listen. There's no God-given right that Liverpool or Man City are guaranteed winners in this game. Aston Villa were atrocious the other day, so they need to pick up something, a little bit of momentum and all that. Like, no one's having to go at the old fantastic Euro Emery, are they, for completely messing that game up by his substitutions. We've been there before.
That was terrible.
Awful decisions. But like, listen, you know what I mean? He's so much better than Arteta. No, he's not. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, yeah, he's done really well with other teams and all that. But I've watched it when it matters, crumbles. Like they was in total control of that game until he took Rodgers off. Total control.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Didn't get that at all. Well, City have got Brighton away, haven't they?
So City have got Brighton away, not easy. And then, so points could be dropped. And it's no good if we lose to Chelsea, them 2 teams drop points. You've got somewhere along the line, Dan, you've got to gain points on these teams. I know that City have got City's next 3 games very difficult. Brighton away, Spurs at home, Liverpool away. You know what I mean? Like if they get 9 points out of them, that's unbelievable. They've done really well. Like you know, what I mean, what they're doing at the moment. So Arsenal have their next 3 games: Arsenal away to Chelsea, home to Forest, away at West Ham. Not easy neither. But Arsenal have got to pick up 9 points from those 3 games. Got to. Not easy. You know, I think Nottingham Forest at the beginning of the season, you would say there's a guarantee.
I thought they were going to go down.
I didn't go down. Like, what do we know about football? So, like, but all of a sudden, like, you know, that's a different game completely now. So we're going to have to be on our game there. And if we're not, we will get done. It's as simple as that. If we're not on our game against Nottingham Forest, they will do us. They will turn us over. So we have got to be on our game. They've gone to Anfield already this season and won. So it's not going to be an easy game. So you need to go there and you need to win that game. But most importantly, you've got to start somewhere. Get the result against Chelsea. It might mean that we just keep pace with them 2 teams at this moment in time. But if Arsenal do not win on Sunday, that is it. There's no and Liverpool and City win. It is it. It's gone. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you cannot have 1 point from 12 games down. 1 point from 12 points.
And you don't win the league like that. You don't win the league like that.
No. And you have to give credit. Like one of the things that really does bug me about Arteta and Arsenal at the moment, like poor result followed by another poor performance, another poor performance, another poor result. Tottenham absolutely crap against Palace, win their next 2 games. You know what I mean? Like, and then come Sunday, whatever time it is, and I'll put this at Chelsea's feet as well, right? Because everybody's saying Chelsea are doing well this season, right? With 4 defeats already, Tottenham will be above us at the end of that game. Now, they could still be above us.
Imagine Chelsea and Spurs being above us. Oh, my word.
Well,
with 11 games gone.
Chelsea are at this moment, whatever happens, Chelsea are above us.
Oh, yeah, well, what I mean going into that international break.
Yeah, going into that international. If that's a draw, right, Tottenham will be above Chelsea and Arsenal if they've beaten Ipswich, which they will do. And at the end of it, we go into the international break below Tottenham Hotspur. So for me, you have to win this game. By hook or by crook, you have to win this game. Now, I don't care if he wants to bring out all the players tonight and get a result against Milan, great. But it's no good beating Milan and then losing to Chelsea or drawing at Chelsea. He has to win. Arsenal Football Club have to win at Chelsea. And it's not easy. So not an easy place to go to. We've unbeaten, I think, in the last 4 years there. 3 wins and a draw. We need to win again. And if he doesn't do it, he is under pressure. Because
it's going to be horrible. It's going to be, I tell you, it's going to be so hope we beat this team, man. I we'll come to predictions in a minute, but I am going to be in such a mood during what is already a very depressing international break, which, by the way, I will say, I won't go into too much, is a joke that we are having another international break. Who are we going to lose this time? And if we do not take 3 points against Chelsea, we will have to deal with the old international break with Spurs and Chelsea laughing at us because we're in a top 4 race with them, which, by the way, is as shameless and self-awareness as it can be, but that's what those 2 clubs are about. For me, if we do not win, we will be out of the title race because I don't care if Liverpool and Manchester City lose games. And this is what the fan base don't quite get sometimes. No, it's all right now because Man City lost to Bournemouth. No, it's not all right now. We are playing crap. I don't care how Manchester City are getting on. I care about what Arsenal are doing. I care about what Arsenal are doing. We were 8 points clear and we still didn't win the league. You can't be 7 points behind them. That's impossible. Yeah, and that's not even them. That's Liverpool, who, by the way, look brilliant, by the way. Absolutely superb. I mean, fair play to them. Hats off to what they haven't played anyone yet. Well, they've played Arsenal. They've played Bayer Leverkusen now. They've played Chelsea. They've played United. For me, they are looking better than Arsenal. Facts. That's just facts. So you look at both teams, they are looking better. Not levels, by the way, but they're looking better than Arsenal at the moment. So we have to fix up. And we can't do it, Lee, because I've seen this team do it under this manager. I've seen us in 22-23 go on win, and everybody getting scared of us. I saw us last season after Dubai smashing teams with this same team, by the way. So it's not a fact that we can't do it. We now have to do it, mate. We absolutely have to. So that's the way I see it, bro. Look, I'll ask you for your predictions on both games tonight and Chelsea. What are you saying?
Right, I've just thought that someone's just in this chat where there's the nearest
Go on.
station to Cheshunt, to get to Chelsea. Like, you know, like I always go Earls Court and walk, but you can get to Earls Court, and then I think it's Fulham Broadway. It's the nearest one from there. There's a couple of stops on from there. Is the easiest way to get there, like, you know. So yeah, check it out. If you put it, always Google it. Nearest stations to Chelsea if it's your first game and all that lot. But listen, a lot of Arsenal fans go to the pubs at Earls Court and then walk, which is Fulham Broadway is the nearest one. Yeah, I thought it was Fulham Broadway, which is just round the corner. Another one is it West Brom Broadway or something? It's not far from it, like, if I remember rightly. But listen, it's easy. Fulham Broadway,
Earls Court
Fulham
is like,
Broadway.
yeah.
You know, but Earls Court, Fulham Broadway, I'm getting that mixed up. But it's easy to get to, like, you know. So from there, Piccadilly line into Earls Court, get yourself there. West Brompton is not far away as well. Yeah, so there you go. I'm going for a draw today, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal lose today. I've got no hope, really, not real great deal things on it, like, you know. But listen, they need to get something. I think if a draw, I think if you get a draw, it wouldn't be a bad thing, like, you know. But listen, I don't think at this moment in time we'll win at Chelsea, but I'm going to go 1-1 into Milan, and I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal at Chelsea because they've got to win then. They've got to win.
We have to, mate. We have to. Look, I'm going 1-1 tonight, and unfortunately, I'm going 1-1 at the weekend as well. I don't want that to happen. I want us to win both games, but I just don't think we're playing well enough at the moment. I really don't, and I don't have the confidence going into games like I used to. And it weren't long ago that I was going into games looking very much forward to it, and I've got back to that. Got back to that again, you know, where you go in games thinking, "Oh Christ, I've got football today." I hate that, you know, that feeling. So winning kills all.
Changed.
Yeah, how times have changed, mate, and it is up and down football. It really is. Look, to close, mate, I wanted to ask you one last question on a player that I have been admiring for quite some time, Victor Gyökeres. Coventry boy, scored goals. That was where I first saw him, and I thought, oh, he looks all right. And then Wolves were interested in him, and I thought, cool, that'd be a good signing for Wolves because I honestly didn't want him at Arsenal when he was at Coventry. I didn't, you know, I can't lie. Then he went to Sporting Lisbon, and I thought, bloody hell, that's a bit of a strange one. That's a bit of a massive step up. 30 goals to get Coventry to the playoffs is a little bit different when you go to the Portuguese league, where you got 58 goals and assists in 50 games. So far, he's played 10, scored 16. Champions League, played 3, scored 5. Cup for Portugal, played 1, scored 4. And last night is doing it in the Champions League, a hat-trick against Manchester City. And people can say it's tap-ins, people can say it's penalties. I've seen this guy score all sorts of goals now. £84 million will be well spent in January on this player, Lee. It has to get done now.
Yeah, listen, it made me laugh yesterday because I'd done all the filming and come out and had a couple of beers, and then we was getting on the train, and one of my mates turned around and said, blimey, Liverpool winning 3-0, and get a load of this. Man City are losing 4-1 to Sporting. By the way, we go and play in a couple of weeks' time, by the way.
Yep.
So I'll give you a heads up how he is in there, Coggeres. But then I said, come on in, who's got the goals? And they said, like, you know, Coggeres has got 3 goals. I said, damn, Fox will be having a JR for, I said, like, you know what I mean, over that, like, you know what I mean, unbelievable. And then when I see the goals, the first goal, by the way, class, you know, holds off the defender, bangs it in, you know, and come on, let's be honest, we all enjoyed that, didn't we? We all enjoyed Man City. Come on, we enjoyed it, didn't we? Like, you know what I mean? I was getting a little bit too smug them lot, you know what I mean? So apparently they even had Liam Gallagher doing commentary. What is going on? I'm not having that no more. I'm actually now going to suspend my feeds for TNT. You know what I mean? I can't be having that thing. You know, I don't hardly watch it anyway. I didn't watch no Champions League football last night, but come on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to pay to watch him sing, let alone do his commentary.
No, I like Oasis, but I'm not sure I'd rather.
I used to like them. Can't stand
commentating. I don't know that I'll be commentating on football.
So listen, I think it's got to be done. Listen, at the end of the day, when your manager jump ship halfway through the season, like, you know, to go to a team that's 14th in the league, if I'm a player and they don't let me go, I'll be fuming. So, you know, put the money up and get him there. We need a striker. You know, I'm not saying to replace Havertz. I think maybe to come alongside him or whatever. But we need something. We need something there, like, to, you know. And if it means selling a couple of our fringe players, then so be it. So be it. I've seen enough of him to know that he's decent, and we need something. We need a lift, Dan. We need a lift. What I've seen in the last couple of games, you know, this is the problem. I don't see us scoring lots of goals at this moment in time. I think if we were still in Newcastle, we'd still be still looking to score. And that's with all their players going home for dinner. You know, I mean, I still think we'd be finding it hard.
Mate, it was so bad. It really was against Newcastle, and that's why I haven't really asked any questions, because there's nothing positive to say about it. I think Victor Gyökeres, however, would be an unbelievable signing. And I said that for a while, and I looked at him a bit more closely when he left Coventry, because I don't watch Championship football like I did, and I started to watch where I could his goals. And sometimes when you do YouTube reels, you start to get a little bit ski-whiffed with your opinions, because I could make Mustafi look good on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So you got to be really careful, right? But now he's starting to do it in the Champions League against English teams.
That's the key, Dan. I agree with people.
You know what I mean?
He's banging in goals in Portuguese League, banging goals in the Champions League. He's banging in goals in the Champions League against all comers. And we'll see what he's like when we play him in a couple of weeks' time, like, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm really looking forward to. Let's see how Saliba and Gabriel get on against him. But, you know, and if he's an handful that day, you've got to turn around and say, let's have him. And I do believe that, you know, people can mock the Portuguese League. They can even mock the Championship if they want, fair enough. But he is banging in goals in the Champions League. And that is the toughest place to do it, Dan. And he's doing it.
Well, look, Man City and a link with Zubimendi and Gyökeres in January. Let's hope that don't happen. Big up to everybody that's here, man. There's been well over 700 of you for most of this stream, but unfortunately, we do not have enough likes. Let's make sure that we get the likes up to well over 350, please, people. Make sure you click the like and the subscribe button, because we're getting close to our next target, which is 40k. If you can come and show me some love as well on Football's 12th Man, that would be amazing. I'll be back later on this evening on my channel after the Inter Milan game. And hopefully we get 3 points, and then we'll be back in time to do more content on here. Looking forward to the weekend. Lee, I'll let you have the last word, my bro.
Yeah, listen, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but whatever happens tonight, dust it off. Get ready for Sunday, because Sunday is a make or break for Arsenal's title challenge. It's as simple as that, guys. It comes down to Magic Sunday, Bloody Sunday, Chelsea Massacre, Chelsea Sunday, the Chelsea Flower Show. Who cares? But we have got to do the business come Sunday. See you later.